Hello to you. My name is Maria Kądzielska and this is Poland Daily Culture. Have you ever been unhappily in love? If the answer is yes, then this conversation, of course, this book, so The Doll by Bolesław Prus, is absolutely for you because it pictures all of us, because most of us had been once unhappily in love. And here with me is Julia Wilde, an expert in literature and a PhD candidate at Warsaw University. We were talking in the previous episode how it ends. So it is the eyes opener, and he realized the fact that even though he's engaged to her, it's not a happy match. It's like he succeeded in obtaining her and in achieving this goal, but this goal is not what he really wanted.
Yes, she's not worthy, right? And it's heartbreaking for him because suddenly he finds himself in a void, in a way.
I would say to the last moments of this book, when I was reading it for the first time, I really wanted Isabella to change. I thought she will realize, I thought she will fall in love with him. That after all the struggle, like dueling for her in the honor of her and her father, buying all of those things, coming to the summer house of her aunt, and all the time being so devoted to her, even though the fact that so many other women try to pick him up, she still doesn't fall in love with him.
Because she is, well, he says one thing that I really admire and love, that if he were to be with a woman, it needs to be a woman of his own kind. And he thinks that Isabella may be the one. Then he realizes that that's not true, and maybe the only one for him would be Mrs. Wąsowska, a wonderful merry widow. But it's very interesting. I also think that he is a very ambitious person. Just because all these women want him, he doesn't want them.
Exactly, that's the case, because for Kurski, in fact, he doesn't want a happy marriage. Because if he wanted a happy marriage, or like to settle down and really have, he would go even with Kazimiera, although she's not maybe the best.
She would be exciting for him. She would be a partner for him, I think.
She was very intelligent as well.
Yes, yes.
And so he could just go with any other, for example, who is, in the book we see basically 3 or 4 women who are like young women who are, I would say, on the market. But I imagine there were more. But he's not looking, he's not really, the reason is like he doesn't really want to love and have a family or settle down and have a happy marriage. What he wants is another way of life and to live differently.
Yes, and I also think that I realized that he is a terribly lonely person, to such an extent that he is unable to open his heart, and to love like in this normal way, so to speak, to create a family, to settle down, to enjoy little things. But he wants a woman, a goddess, to admire, to worship.
The question is, if Isabella ever really submitted to him and show her everyday life, so she, for example, would become pregnant and fatter and something like this, would he still want her?
That's a very interesting question. I would say that after their marriage, immediately, even without a child, he would be disillusioned and he would understand that he was trying to reach the goal, but she herself doesn't please him. It's not enough. He would look for another goal because he's an ambitious person.
Yes, he's all the time setting up goals.
Yes. So
he wants to obtain money, he wants to be a scientist, he wants something else. And then there's a woman is the ideal because she's perfect. She's extremely beautiful, she represents everything what he didn't have.
Yes.
So position.
And she is another goal. Because I'm not sure if he cares so much about the position, because he sees that those people are worthless, in most of them actually. I would say that the only exceptions are Ochocki and Zasławska, so the old lady who had been in love with his uncle. And it's also very beautiful and tragical story, but these are the 2 open...
And Ochocki is a noble man, an aristocrat who spends all his money for scientific research.
Yes.
And instead of joining, for example, Ochocki and obtaining something real as well, and or enjoying just the fact that he changes life of ordinary people, because he saved so many lives on his path, like of the prostitute, of people from Powiśle, so there was the poorest part of Warsaw those times. But he doesn't see those goals, he doesn't see those things as they don't satisfy him. He's never satisfied.
Yes, he's not. And we don't know if he hadn't joined Ochocki at some point, because what's important in this book is the open ending. And we just don't know what happens to him.
Yeah,
and
we don't know what happens
yes,
to Wokulski at
it's
the
one
very
of the
end.
great mysteries of Polish literature, I would say.
Yeah.
And I think that everybody has their own opinion on the ending. Yes, because it's frustrating to some extent that we don't know for sure what happened, and we can only...
He could come back to
guess.
Paris, he could die, or he
Yes.
could move to... Or maybe he joined Ochocki,
Yes.
or he happily married some other woman.
Yes, we don't know, and I think it's frustrating and it's great at the same time, because we can, live the life of this character, and we know just as much as his friends when they learned that he just disappeared and they don't know anything about him. One of my favorite characters in the book is Dr. Schumann. He's a fascinating character because he's a great friend of Wokulski, and I think that they also met in Siberia, but I'm not sure about it. But he's an elderly doctor, and he's a Jew, as far as I remember. He's very cynical, and he's a scientist, and he's analyzing human hair and doing all those researches, and he is very sober, and he always criticizes Wokulski for his romantic ideas and the society, and he's so witty and he's so sharp. That's just a great character.
And we will come back to the portrait of the society, which is one of the most important, in the next episode. So if you would like to learn how the society is portrayed in The Duel by Prus, watch us in the next episode, and thank you very much for being with us.